Stand by, Mr. Kelly. We're going to dispense of the housekeeping before we start the hearing. Today being January 8th, 2026, call the meeting of the Plumbing Advisory Board to order at 9:15 a.m. Please let the record show that Mike Bellata is on an excused absence and Michelle Brisbane is on an excused absence. When I call your name, please signify by saying present. Dave Hoffmeister.
Present.
Mike Ingram.
Present.
Brian Gilbert.
Present.
Bill Dobbins. Sarah Poindexter.
Present.
Shane McNulty.
Present.
Let the record show the chairman is present and accounted for. Moving on to number 4 on the agenda, approval of today's agenda, January 8th, 2026. Board, what say you?
Motion. Second.
Motion on the floor and seconded to approve today's agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Item number 5 of the agenda, approval of the minutes of December 4th, 2025. They were emailed to all board members and staff on 12/23/25 for review and comment. None were received. Board?
Motion to accept.
Motion on the floor and seconded to approve the minutes of December 4th, 2025. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6 of the agenda, we're going to dispense of open discussion, and we're going to move right into item number 7, which is our first hearing of the day. Mr. Kelly, could you please show us on record, please?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. Gentlemen, could you step forward, please? We have 3 chairs set up here, only 1 mic. Once I swear you in, if one at a time, if you could please state your name and the spelling of your name for the court reporter. Gentlemen, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you'll give today is true, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Let the record show that all 3 appellates indicated in the affirmative. Please, one at a time, could you state your name and spelling for the court reporter?
Michael Thompson, MichaelThompson.
And your position?
I am the architect with Design Blends.
Thank you.
William O'Sullivan, WILLIAN, O''SULLIVAN, and I am with the company, the contractor, and the owner.
Thank you.
James Harrah, JAMESHARRE, project coordinator at Design Blends.
Okay. All right, thank you. Board members, prior to today, has any board member discussed any information in whole or in part with the appellate or anyone directly or indirectly connected with this case? Mike Ingram?
No.
David Hoffmeister?
No.
Brian Gilbert?
No.
Sarah Poindexter? And outside of staff, the chairman has had no communication. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome. We'll explain a little bit how we're going to conduct the proceeding today. We are going to allow you gentlemen all the time that you need to explain the nature of your request and the reason for your request. When you have completed that, the board members one at a time, if they have any questions, they'll ask them of you at that point. When that is completed, we will even afford you more time should you hear something during the cross-examination that you feel spawns a response. We'll even afford you more time. When we've completed all that, we will go off record. We will go into the deliberation room and we'll discuss your case, and then we'll come back and we'll proceed to vote on record in front of you gentlemen. All right. With that, whoever would like to start, as you speak, just identify yourself one more time. You'll have to spell it for the court reporter and we'll be good.
Good. Okay, this is Michael Thompson.
Um,
It's on.
Is it on?
It is on.
Bring it closer to you, Nate.
Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay.
This is Michael Thompson. To get this started, I'm going to ask Mr. O'Sullivan to briefly describe the project that is before the board today.
I'm William O'Sullivan. I am involved with the project. We are the contractor for 8451 Hagerman Street. We proposed to put in a set of tanks. The tanks are for a cleaning stage. The cleaning stage has, it's a manual system, and it has a reclaim which is built into the floor. The floor drain is using a pump to pump into a different tank. The different tank is for neutralization. The neutralization process takes place in that tank, and then the materials are transferred to a storage tank, which is above ground. The above ground tank then is pumped into the drain system. The Philadelphia Water Department has approved my system that I use currently in our building. We have two powder coating systems, one that we're building, one that's in operation. And I currently do the same thing. We do a lot of testing. Each month, I have to test for a very large amount of chemicals, from zinc to cyanide. And we have a private testing lab that takes care of that. Test America. Those findings, once a year, or twice a year, I should say, they go to the Philadelphia Water Department for review. I get inspections from the Philadelphia Water Department several times of the year. I just had an inspection and I just passed. Again, when we discharge anything from the last tank, it has to be within the parameters of the Philadelphia Water Department, which means it's basically drinking water, 7.2 pH.
No, thanks.
Okay, I wouldn't either. So the reason we're here is we have already put in, or we have already decided to put in a gravity-fed drain to the new building. But the storage tank that I'm using for the cleaning stage, or the one that's going to go to the drain, okay, requires a pump. Okay, the pump must be there to pump the material from the tank to the drain. There's no other way to get it to the drain. And using the pump can be regulated so that it's not a whole lot of moisture or water that's going to the drain. The Philadelphia Water Department requires that I take record every day of the amount of water usage I use for my current system, which I will have to perform on the new system. So, which means that the equipment that I have installed is already water efficient because it's new, obviously, and it's within the new guidelines. But secondly, after the water's there, I generate today, in which the guys are working with right now, I generate about 30 gallons of water a day out of the system. So basically, I'm putting roughly 30 gallons of water down the drain from that tank.
Mr. O'Sullivan, can I clear one thing up for the record, please? You're mentioning that you're the contractor. I thought you already also mentioned you're the owner. Are you the owner?
No, I am not the owner, but I work with the owner.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, the owner his name is Raymond Longstreth.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Mhm.
Okay.
May I
Please.
provide a little additional context here?
Mhm.
In its simplest form, our application is to construct a new manufacturing facility behind an existing manufacturing facility. It's a pre-engineered warehouse, but because it is new construction, it is required to have one toilet room and a mop sink in there. The toilet room and the mop sink will drain to a gravity-fed line that will feed out to the street exactly per code. We believe that the reason for the denial that we received from the plumbing plan reviewer was because there is a pump that's attached to the wastewater treatment system that Mr. O'Sullivan has described. Should the power go out at the facility, that wastewater process would stop. There would be no discharge. However, sanitary waste from the building will still be gravity fed out to the street sewage line per code, fully in accordance with the code.
James Hara, just to put a button up on everything, the real reason for the inclusion of tanks is the control so that Mr. Sullivan and the team at Northeast Fence and Iron can control when that wastewater is moved from the storage tank into the gravity fed line. So it still feeds back to the gravity fed line, but it's not done until it's tested and considered cleaned as done by Mr. Sullivan's test. So really the use of these pumps is for the immediate control of what is starting out as toxic treat water that needs treatment before it can be sent to the gravity fed line.
Good. All right, I think we kind of understand. Does that conclude your preliminary testimony, and we'll proceed with some questions?
Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. One at a time, I will call on the board members to ask the questions, beginning with me. The permit that you submitted with the appeal, well, first of all, let me back up a minute. I believe the refusal that you received from the department was spawned by, in layman's terms, if gravitational drainage is available to a building, you must utilize that. So that was what was initially spawned the refusal. So the PWD permit that you submitted with the package, that's permit for your existing building. I want to establish for the record that for the new building, you need a whole additional permit, correct?
That's what we're seeking.
Okay, all right. Initially, your initial submission, you were pumping the sanitary fixtures for the toilet room also. So now it appears from reviewing the subsequent submission and the additional drawings that you're now establishing a completely separate sewer connection for that new addition. Let's call it this addition, new building. It's, so you're establishing a whole new connection for that.
That's correct.
Okay. And do you recall what size that building sewer is that you're running from that new building out to the point of disposal?
I can let you know. So the new sewer line is going to be a 5-inch line, which extends from the new building in the rear of the property all the way to the main in the street along Hagerman Street, which is a 15-inch diameter.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about the system that you utilize now. So the system that you utilize now, do you have any sort of interceptors on that, like a sand interceptor or solids interceptor or anything that might capture particulate matter?
Currently, what we do is we have filters. The filters are built into the floor and they're cleaned regularly. Most of the product or most of the material that's going down the drain is basically material, meaning so it is the soap and it also is some of the substrate, meaning so galvanized has a tendency to have small particle matter removed during cleaning. So we have to encapsulate that. The encapsulation actually is performed in a tank, whereas the materials are collected there and then transferred to another tank, which we use now. That tank is the treatment tank. And then from there, it is processed into the drain where it's pumped into the water line. It is tested every day, 3 times a day.
We get that, Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well, we have to do
No,
that.
I understand the
If
reason. for you
I
wanting
don't,
that
I'm in
emphasis
a
on
lot
that.
of trouble.
No, I understand. So, talking a little bit about the existing process that you're utilizing now,
Mhm.
is that in fact pumped into the sanitary drain? Is that the way it enters the sanitary drain by virtue of a pump?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Right, that's the new. Yeah, I was talking about the existing. Oh, okay. Yeah, Yep, yep. Um, So my last question before I turn it over to my colleagues is, would there be a way, one of your drawings does indicate, a gravity drain out of the last tank? The proximity of you're running, and we're happy to see that you're running a new sewer to capture that, waste out of that new building. Is there a way, I don't know if it's too far away or proximity, I'll leave that to you for that, to answer us on that. Is there a way that you could establish an open fixture drain with an air gap or an air break whereby that waste from that final tank that Mr. O'Sullivan is referring to that comes out as clean as drinking water, is there a way that you could run a branch line to that tank, create an open fixture or a hub drain or floor drain with a funnel, whatever your choice would be, whereby that could enter the sanitary system by virtue of an air break or an air gap?
So I would say unlikely. The goal of pumping up into the exterior of the building from there was to avoid touching the foundation or the footings of the side of the building, which is doing all the load bearing for the prefab building. And then additionally, we're already very tight on the slope that we can go because I think our distance is close to 400 feet, right?
Yes.
So, to get the slope that we have now, we're already very close to pushing. So to push everything further down may actually spawn the need for a pump to keep things moving.
This is why I asked you about what size building sewer you were running. You're running a 5-inch.
Mhm.
So the capacity on that, even at the minimal rate of fall as described in the code, you still have a ton of capacity on that.
Mhm.
But it sounds to me like, just to clarify, that it's to control the water, and I appreciate that. It's to control the flow of the water, which makes a certain amount of sense. You can still control that flow of water with a ball valve out of that last tank. It sounds to me like it's because that is already done and established is why you don't want to disrupt what you've already done, what you've already poured and everything. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's all that I have for right now. I appreciate your responses and the clarification. Right now, we'll have my colleagues on the board ask some questions now. Brian Gilbert?
Good morning. So I want to ask you, is this project in reference to a building permit that was issued on May 16th, 2025, permit number being 2024-005139?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so you did send some pictures, pictures with some drawings on them.
These are in your exhibits, Jim,
Yes.
just so.
Yep.
All right, is that the building we're speaking of?
Yes,
So the slab is currently poured.
that's correct.
So, if I may, just some background to that. Mr. Sullivan bought this project to us after they had started it with another architect. So they had a previous building permit. They had gotten to a certain point and they had issues with that, which is where we picked it up. So they had started construction. It's classified as a new construction building because it's separate and a new structure instead of an addition alteration to the existing structure that's on the property.
Okay, well, what I'm getting at here is you seem to have the slab on grade already poured. Your initial application for a plumbing permit was, August 5th, 2025. As of today, the slab has been poured. How did you achieve plumbing inspection?
I guess I should answer this question. What happened was originally we had hired an architect. The architectural firm designed the building and we were originally attached to our existing. The architect then informed us, or the company, that we would have to put a suppression system inside our existing building. The existing building is roughly about 60,000 square feet, which it's pretty hard to do because the existing building does not have a heated system. Then the architect explained to us that if we move the building back 10 foot 1 inch, that I didn't have to do that. So obviously, following her direction, we moved the building back. Well, unfortunately, that was wrong information. So we had a building permit already in place because she had attained one or obtained one. And at that point, we started construction.
Did you have a plumbing permit when you installed the plumbing for this trench drain for the
We-
sanitary in the bathroom?
We, at the time, we were not required to have a lavatory or a drinking fountain in there.
But you
Because
were
it
doing
was,
process work.
because it was considered, and the zoning that she filed it under a warehouse, not a manufacturing facility. So at that point, when I had an L&I inspection, the inspector came out and said to me, it's a whole different building. It's a whole different process. And he said, all your codes and all of your guidelines have changed. He said, I consider this a new building, whether it's on the back of our property or across the street. He
We're-
said, so he said at that point, I had to get new permits. My architect, the original one, told me I could have them amended. I was told I couldn't. So at this point, she quit. Walked away. And that's when I had to go search for a new architectural firm. And these two gentlemen here were kind enough to pick up the project.
But what I'm getting at is even, I don't have table 403.1 in front of me, but I believe a warehouse would require a water closet and a lavatory. And even if you were putting this trench drain in, that's going to receive discharge from your process and discharge that through a pump to the Philadelphia public sewers, you would require a plumbing permit.
To clarify, if this was constructed as an addition, the fixture count that existed on the site was already adequate to cover this additional square footage, given the occupancy. It was really when we separated the building off. Now that it's a new construction rather than an addition to an existing facility, that's what triggers the need for us to provide now.
But okay, I'm not talking about the bathroom at all. I'm talking about the trench drain, the water used in the process and I'm going to get to that in a second. I really don't understand what you're doing here. But the water used in the process that you're washing down, you're capturing that water that is now contaminated. You are neutralizing it and then discharging it to the Philadelphia public sewers, right?
That's
That was
correct.
always part of this project, regardless of whether you had a bathroom or not.
And again, one more time, the architect who originally did this project, she marked it as a warehouse, a storage facility. She never, ever had zoning for a commercial building, though she had knowledge of it. She knew what we were going to do. So what she did was she marked it up as a storage room, just like you would have a storage shed in the back of your property. Well, this would be a warehouse that we would store product.
May I interject one thing, Mr. Gilbert?
Please.
I think to clarify one of Mr. Gilbert's questions is this building was being constructed for the sole purpose of doing this process, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
The process involves plumbing.
Right.
Right.
But
A plumbing permit was never sought.
it was never sought because at the time, when I did receive the permits originally from the other architectural firm, okay, and they applied for them, she never, ever mentioned or put in there that there was going to be equipment in there. She made it a warehouse. So that's why a plumbing permit was never sought.
Okay.
And to further go into that, there was a question about facilities. We have a large facility now, and we have a large laboratory, both for female and male. So we were under the guidelines of the amount of distance, number one. And then number two is we had more than enough facilities in each unit or each room. So she said that was sufficient.
Okay, well, we'll move past that for the moment. I want to better understand your process here. So you have a hand sketch. I want to see if this is, I apologize, there is a lot of paper here that I'm thumbing through. I want to verify that this is to date the most accurate representation of what you plan on doing.
That's correct.
You have a,
Basically, yes.
you have a floor drain.
Want him to identify that, Matt, for the record?
I mean, it's in their exhibits.
Yes, it's in there, yes.
I think there's only one exhibit pack.
Well, I'm going to explain it.
Yeah.
You have a floor drain going to a sewage ejector pump. From that sewage ejector pump, you have that wastewater being elevated into what you are labeling new tank. Now, you have told us that is a neutralizing tank. Is it a neutralizing or a sedimentation tank?
No, sedimentation tank, okay, is the tank
round?
location is the round one.
The round one, so
And what
the
happens?
first tank is going to be the sedimentation tank. That's the first stop from the sewage ejector
That is
pump.
correct.
From there, and it, you know, it looks exactly like a sedimentation tank would do to me. You have a low water inlet, a high water outlet, and you're draining by gravity to another tank. And is that going to be the neutralization tank?
That's correct.
What medium are you using to neutralize to get to 7.2?
What we do is we actually changed it. It's more so the pH. We use an alkaline cleaner. Alkaline cleaners raise the pH. Okay, it's not an acid, so acid's lower. So what happens, I have chemicals that we are furnished by their chemical supplier. We add it to the tank, we bring the pH back up. I'm sorry, we.
You,
we take
you,
the
ha- you
pH
start with acidic products, that's
then
with
we'll-
a low
we'll bring
pH, you're
and
bringing
then
it
we-
up
And then we
to
bring it back up to the
closer to
level.
neutral.
And
You're
then
bringing it up
there,
closer to neutral.
we pump it back into the other tank to be
I'm
discharged.
trying to get to that.
Okay.
So,
The reason we use the pumps, okay, is A, we can control things, number one. Number two, because the tank is above ground, I can't have it, and the floor is poured. I was going to discharge it with one of those pumps, the effluent pump, to the ceiling, across the ceiling, and then down into the drain itself.
so there's going to be actually two pumps.
You'll have,
Well, you'll have a two-stage pump for your sewage ejector, which is
Exactly.
mandatory. Then after your second tank, now I'm getting a better look at the square tank. Can we call it the square tank?
right,
Is that a two-stage tank? It looks like you have a tank
Yes.
inside of a tank with
Yes.
an overflow.
that is correct.
So that essentially is taking whatever wastewater is, going down the bottom and overflowing. And your medium is a chemical additive. You're not using limestone.
No, sir.
You're adding a chemical, and I'm assuming with your 3 times a day test is going to give you the amount of chemical that has to be added.
That's correct.
Okay, so you're going to overflow, then you're going to drain by gravity to a secondary tank or tertiary tank, where that is now going to be pumped up above the ceiling and go by gravity into your building drain.
Correct.
That's going to be a direct connection, not an indirect waste.
Yes, that's correct.
What is the contaminants? I actually meant to lead with that.
Simple green.
No, is that your neutralizer?
No, that's the chemical we
That's the
use.
chemical
Yes, simple green.
simple green and high concentration?
Yes, that's it.
And you're, with the sedimentation, you're obviously catching some galvanized or something
That is correct.
you want to keep from,
I cannot allow that zinc material to get into the line. I cannot discharge that to the water department. So I have to collect that. And what we do is we have it treated. Actually, we have it containerized, and we have a company that comes in twice a year and removes that and disposes.
okay. You said the building inspector came to give you your CO, noticed that you were required a plumbing permit. And this is what started this process.
No, well, originally, yes, we hired a plumbing contractor. He filed for a plumbing permit. We supplied him the drawings originally with the pumps because we were going to use a pump system that was going to pump from the new lavatory to our existing drain in the building. And that was knocked down, and they said, no, I could not do that. So we went around and we tried several other things, and we just decided to put the gravity fed in and just be over with it. And that's where we were.
So you have a new building drain and building sewer coming in. This is
Right.
located on your drawing, and I don't see a north, but, yeah, it's just, actually, it's gonna be on drawing P100. I don't see a north, but so let's just call the top of the drawing north. You have a 4 or 5 inch sanitary building drain coming in on the north running south on the eastern side of the building, picking up your powder room, and then
Mhm.
running south again to pick up this process. That piping is installed?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not yet. But
It
it has
is
to be
not.
put in. It has to be put in.
Okay, so that's
So
what I was
nothing has,
getting at earlier.
nothing,
with the
yes,
plumbing
no,
paradigm.
nothing is
So
installed.
you have to saw cut to do this,
I do.
and you're saw cutting. Can you explain to me the benefits of the dual pump 3-tank system over a sand interceptor and a neutralization tank?
Uh, The third tank is required because that's the tank that discharges to the water department. So that means it's a fail-safe. So if there's a problem with the tank that's used for the treatment and it does get to the other tank, I still have time to neutralize it before I discharge. If I discharge and it's too high, I get a fine. So it's a fail-safe before we do anything. As far as the pumps go, again, as I said, the only reason we
You
do.
need a pump. For this system, I get it. You need a pump.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
just trying to go
No,
to gather why.
the third tank is a fail-safe. That has to be there.
Oh, no doubt.
But I'm just trying to. I understand that the process stops when the power goes out, but I'm trying to understand why you wouldn't go gravity if you could just add a neutralizer, a tank in the ground. God, my eyes are getting so bad.
Yeah, and also to an extent, the depth and distance at which we're already running. So the tank in the ground is lower than the line from the bathroom is already coming. So we lose the additional depth of that tank in what runs out. Again, running close to 400 feet from that building out to the street. So
Isn't
we're
that
trying to
4 foot
make sure that we
elevation?
have the elevation change required for that flow.
That's
And
good.
pushing that further down with the tank that's in the slab or will be in the slab pushes that starting point even further down, closer to the elevation of the main sewer in Hagerman.
So the driver is your tanks you already have.
Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, over 400 foot and 1/8 of it is per foot fall, you have a 4 foot elevation change.
Hmm.
And I'm guessing the building, the public sewer in Hagerman is relatively shallow,
18 feet.
18 feet. Well, this is going to conclude my questioning for now. If something else might pop up, but thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Sarah, you want to go next? It's on the public docs. I looked it up on public docs. But I don't believe Sarah, I don't believe.
No further questions.
Okay. David Hoffmeister.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can I share screen here?
Sarah, you're very photogenic.
There we go. No, this is fine and I can see it. No, I don't
Look
think so.
good,
They
Dad.
can
Thank you.
see Here. Listening to Brian's questioning and looking at your diagram, I just want to make sure I understand this because the drawing that is submitted for permit, drawing PCS in the exhibit,
The hand drawing, the hand sketch.
indicates the
Oh.
sanitary riser diagram for permit. And so I understand this would be your floor drain, or trench drain that collects the effluent. This would be your below grade tank, correct? PP1.
PP1 and PP2, I believe, are the pumps. Let me please confirm.
I wonder why the drawing doesn't show the
So
tanks.
to cut,
I'm wondering why.
to the real question here. This flow chart diagram is what you guys were just reviewing?
Yes.
Is this the actual condition or is it what's
No.
here on the permit drawing?
Mm. What you have in your hand is what I currently use today. So that
This
is
is
in,
the existing
this is
condition.
the existing one. That is correct.
This is proposed?
That is proposed.
Okay, so there won't be an above-ground tank?
There will be an above-ground tank. The
And-
above-ground tank is not shown on there. And the reason for it is because the above-ground tank has to be sized for the amount of water flow that comes in. So at this present time, I don't have the ratios for the equipment. So once I do that, once we have that information, then we'll formulate a tank. We'll build one.
Understood. So, two below-grade tanks is two pumps?
That is, yes, each one has a pump. That is correct.
And then the above-grade tank would also have a pump.
That is correct.
The 2-inch forced main here, is that distance 400 feet? Or is it sloping here? This is your gravity to 4-inch at 0.2 slope, 1/4 inch per foot. Is that 400 feet? Where does the 400 feet?
I think that distance is from where the outlet at the edge of the building is on the side of the building. So where on P100, the line feeds out, to the side of the building.
That's the 4-inch by gravity at the ceiling?
No, I think it's,
In the clouded area.
Should be a 2-inch line, doesn't
Here
it?
we
yeah,
go,
it's
this,
2 inch to the ceiling and then yes.
and there's your toilet room gravity sewer going out. This pipe extending the length of the building here, that is above ceiling?
No, that line right there that your mouse is currently on
Understood.
is going down to the slab per the
Gotcha.
note that's right there on the left-hand side.
And this is at 0.02?
I believe that would be at minimal 0.02, yes.
Understood. Okay. So this pipe here is at the ceiling.
Mhm.
There's your drop, then on your drop, there's your, this is where you would be tying in your forced main.
Mhm.
Again, this location here.
Yes, it appears that way.
Understood. Okay. This is all gravity at the ceiling, drops down, then it's gravity, the length of the building, and then it ties in with your toilet room. And there is a third tank in this arrangement. Okay, no further questions.
Thank you. Who we got here? Bill Dobbins? Mike Ingram?
What's the skill set or skill level for the individual doing all the testing and monitoring?
In our facility,
Mhm.
his colleague, well, he's graduated from college. Okay, he's got
there a
chemical,
designation
he's got,
for this?
pardon me?
Is there a designation
Yes.
for the testing? What do we call an individual?
What well, first of all, define what you explained.
You're monitoring of the.
We are
quality of
monitoring,
water
yes.
Per PWD,
That's correct.
and the actual implementation.
Hmm.
It's like you go to the restroom, on the back of the door, Bob was here, it was clean, it was done. So who is that individual? Is that any Joe, or is that the person with the designation?
Do they require qualification?
Jason,
Are they certified to do this? So they get a.
yes, yes. If you're asking about the testing, the person who is testing the materials before it's released to PWD, okay, he has went through various programs provided by the chemical company. Also, PWD also furnished us training. So the gentleman who does the who does the testing, okay, he's one of the supervisors on the floor. So he is responsible to make sure that it is done correctly. And only he does the testing because he has to sign the sheets.
Okay, but the filter
So,
changes and.
that is
monitors
correct.
on-
That is correct. He's responsible for all that. If there's an issue, it's on him.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Shane McNulty?
No questions.
Gentlemen, thank you for indulging our questions.
No.
This board strives to get things right, so. Is there any other final comments before we would go off record? You've been in front of us before, haven't you?
I've come to BBS for a few different things, never the PAB specifically, but.
Yeah, I think I
if
was,
you've seen
I
me
was at the same hearing.
BBS for a few things
Yeah.
for sure.
You look familiar, that's all.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
All right, if you have nothing else to add, we're going to go off record and we're gonna deliberate and we'll come back. We might have a question or two when we come back or,
Mhm.
whatever. Mr. Kelly, could you show us off record, please?
Yes, Chair.
Deb, could you suspend the recording? Thank you very much. Today being Thursday, January 8th, 2026, we continue to hear case number MI 2025-007542 for 8451 Hagerman Street. Board, what say you?
Mr. Chair, I motion to approve the variance for the pumping of one floor or trench drain to the gravity sanitary system.
A second.
Motion on the floor and seconded to approve the variance. Gentlemen, we want to be perfectly clear what we're approving you for today. We are approving the process piping pumping into the sanitary gravity drainage system. That's it. So you still have to establish the rest of your gravity drainage. We want to be very clear. You're not to proceed with any other work until your PWD approval and review has been completed. Upon that completion, you need to amend your drawings for the department, for your plumbing drawings to show what that final design is going to be. So what we're saying is we've discovered that your submitted drawing to the department versus your hand sketches that we're discussing here do not align. So once your PWD approval has been established, based on that, you need to update and amend your recent submitted drawings to the department.
Are you able to elaborate on the discrepancy that you're seeing between what's proposed and what's in the drawings?
There was mention of 3 tanks. You're showing 2 below grade. My understanding is you have the tanks below grade and 1 or 2 tanks. I'm still not even sure of that regardless, but I just know that your testimony, based on the system that you're proposing, does not match what is documented on the submitted permit plans.
So you just want to make sure that all the tanks that are included in the process are shown on the riser diagrams and in the drawings. Understood?
Correct. And the quantity of pumps and the piping arrangement from the tank outflow to the gravity main.
Understood. Thank you.
Just a little bit more advice, make sure you show the characteristics of the pump, the heads of the pump. Everything has to be on that drawing for the department. One last thing that we would like to, we should vote first, but it doesn't matter. One last thing we'd just like to point out to you. Under Philadelphia Plumbing Code, under section P919, if you're running a 5-inch building sewer to the building itself, you need a full-size vent inside that building that matches that building sewer. That's just, it has nothing to do with the case, has nothing, it's just a little bit of advice that we picked up while we were digesting all this. So, all right. There's a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the pumping of the effluent waste only to the sanitary gravity system of the new building. And seconded. Any other questions or comments on the motion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the chair votes aye. Gentlemen, so do before you leave, you understand what we're approving. We're approving that pump into that new gravity system
Mhm.
you're establishing.
Correct.
We just want to, we just don't want you to get fouled up, you know,
No.
we were mindful that you've already had some hiccups and, you know, we don't want to see it get tripped up again.
Sorry, one last question. The additional PWD review, are you looking for a review of the new wastewater treatment system before we resubmit? Do we need to, is there another review from PWD we need to?
So it's going to be, so your PWD, you're not going to have to come back to us
Yeah.
unless you change something on here.
Mhm.
Then potentially you may have to come visit us again. But as it sits right now, once you get your PWD approval, that's going to have the design on there. That's going to have the design that Mr. O'Sullivan is referring to with the in-ground tanks, the above-ground tanks and everything else. That needs to match the, an amended
So you're
drawing to the
looking
department.
for the approval of the new system, so, you know, another, where is it? Another approval, but for the new system.
Correct,
Okay,
correct. But that system has to be,
has to match what is
Go ahead,
included in the
Shane.
drawings.
Just envision in your mind that a building inspector, or plumbing inspector goes out and opens up the plans.
Mhm.
So he's gonna open up the sealed plans. It has to match what's on site, or he's just gonna stop work your whole project and tell you to amend it anyway. So if your plan's got 2 tanks on it, but you're putting 3 out there, the second he sees the 3rd tank, he's gonna stop everything anyway. So we're just telling you, get ahead of it. The second you iron everything out with PWD industrial waste and you know exactly what you're doing, amend the drawings immediately to accurately reflect what's gonna go on site.
Understood.
Does that make sense?
Yep, yep,
Yes.
understood.
One last question. You held up that PWD
Yeah.
paper. Is that for the existing system or
Yeah.
this
That
new
is for
system?
the existing system.
Right, so you currently do not have PWD approval.
So you're looking for us to square this away with PWD before refiling with LNI to make sure that the drawings are,
You keep saying refiling, right?
to
What I'm saying
resubmit?
is the permit's going to be approved as is,
Okay,
right? The second, any additional, any revisions to that drawing that have to be made to come into compliance with PWD and
Mhm.
industrial waste
Mhm.
have to be reflected on our plan as well.
understand. Yeah, normally the process
so he's saying ours, maybe we should clarify,
Oh.
or we should clarify the players on the board here. Mr. McNulty, represents the Department of License and Inspection. He is he oversees all the
Mhm.
plans and plans examiners and
Mhm.
things like that. Mr. Dobbins is our PWD representative. So, you know, this board has synergy between all the city's agencies. And so that's why we're trying to desperately guide you in the right direction.
I know normally we need to submit the notice of decision to LNI to continue the permit. We would be able to update the drawings to at least include the 3rd tank as requested with a note for sizing to be determined, and we can refile the amendment after that.
You don't have to do, you're gonna give us the decision.
Okay,
The permit's gonna be approved as is.
and then you want us to amend it once we have the full. Okay.
That little gap in between where it says, processed by others or whatever tweaks to the system.
Okay.
And that's only to stop you from further delays in the future.
Okay.
When the inspector comes out and says,
What are you
this
doing?
doesn't match your plans.
Yeah.
Understood.
Right? And
Um, Excuse me, this is the court reporter. Can I ask who's speaking?
That is Mr. Shane McNulty.
Thank you, Chair.
Board members, any other final parting comments? You have another question?
No, I'm good.
Oh, I thought I seen you raise your hand. I was like, come on, you know. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to see us and thanks for bearing with the time and indulging
Yep.
our questions. We appreciate you coming. That concludes testimonies in case number MI 2025-007-542. Mr. Kelly, kindly show us off record, please.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, you're excused.
Thank you, Chair. Everyone have a happy new year.
Thank you. You as well.
Mr. Kelly.
Please. Thank you. Proceeding with the agenda items, agenda item number 8, unfinished business. Does anyone have anything to discuss under unfinished business?
I do.
Mr. Gilbert.
The testing process for journeyman and masters. I know we are currently asking the city for the plumbing advisory board to have pre-approval and to administer and grade the test, but I have 2 members who have had issues taking their test. The first issue is a member went to take his test at Pearson View. They refused him to test because his ID was damaged.
His what was damaged?
His identification.
Oh, okay.
They made him repay to take the test again. So he now is paid for 2 tests and has yet to be able to access the test because he had to wait a month. He has a case number and I will provide it to the board as soon as I get it.
Good. Give me the second one, then I'll.
The second issue is a member that took the journeyman's test in 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. Essentially, the apocalypse he passed, he was never able to attain his journeyman's license. And he would like to be able to take the test again. And I believe he's been in talks with L&I to get approval through the ICC and has not achieved it. It's been over a month.
All right.
Hold on, he took the test, passed it.
But he never activated it, and
I was
that's
never able to activate it
That's-
because
because of the apocalypse, and it's only good for 1 year, and ICC won't let you test again.
So Pearson View doesn't have record?
they have a record.
So,
L&I won't accept the record.
so Brian, I have 2 things that I would like to suggest. On the second gentleman, the one that tested, passed, but never activated the license and now is having difficulty. And Deb and Matt will probably support me on this too. I would have that person file for an appeal for the Board of License Inspection Review.
Already done.
And
When?
It was done, I'd have to go back to my text messages. It was done at least 4 weeks ago. And he has not,
So it's been like a month.
he's not received approval from ICC to retake the test.
well,
That's
no,
what-
no, no,
that
no,
was the
no, no.
method he was told.
He needs to come to the L&I Review Board and present his case that he has passed and all his passing with his credentials and his certificate that he served his journeyman or his apprenticeship and all that. And then L&I Review Board could then grant him a license if they deem that his credentials are in order, correct?
He
Wouldn't
spoke
have to
to
do-
license issuance.
Unfortunately, Board of License and Inspection Review is my client. I can't really comment on any
Deb.
cases before them.
You should go there.
He dropped you like a hot rock. Well,
He should appeal before the L&I Review Board. Matt's client.
Matt, can you give me your client's phone number?
It's on L&I's website.
He needs the rejection letter from L&I,
And he can appeal.
and then he's gonna appeal that to the L&I.
Correct.
He's gonna appeal that to the L&I Review Board.
Yes.
Okay. You can email me that or either. I have a hard time finding things on websites.
He's probably in talk with ICC and they're never gonna let him.
He was in talks with license issuance. License issuance told him that they were going to issue a letter to ICC allowing him to retake the test 250 Philadelphia
He
journeyman.
doesn't have to. Yeah, he doesn't. What Deb is
That
saying is
was their
he doesn't have to.
solution.
Follow Deb's suggestion.
Okay, I'm gonna follow Deb's suggestion because this is gonna be a continuing issue.
Okay, now, as for the first issue that you raised, and I think Shane's gonna kind of back me up right on this. If you recall, the last time there was issues with Pearson View and the board brought it to the attention to the powers to be, there was a big issue.
I remember.
So what I think I would suggest, and anyone in city services that, wants back me up or suggest something different, I would first suggest that person files a grievance or something with ICC first.
Already done.
That's already done. Okay.
Already done. But the fact that they've made him double pay is a secondary issue.
So Shane, I would say with that grievance already done and contacting ICC first and documenting it, I would think then it may be appropriate for either the person or Brian to contact the chief code official at that point. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'll get his appeal number and I will reach out to the chief code official
Yes.
about his issue.
But we have to be very cautious because of what happened last time. We
I
have to be
understand.
very cautious with chain of
I
command.
would like to take this time to bring up the Plumbing Advisory Board. Controlling pre-authorization would eliminate the majority of these problems. Thank you.
Well, just remember, ICC has their own rules, so, I mean, the Pearson View does. Well, so it's important to understand that too, Pearson View is simply a subcontractor to ICC.
those are the same, that's the same scrutiny that inspectors go under when they test.
Exactly. So your comment about the Plumbing Advisory Board providing pre-authorization is well noted, and thank you. To give everybody a brief update on our efforts with that. I've been, up to 2 weeks ago, I've had follow-up meetings with the mayor's office regarding this issue, or regarding our request that the PAB provide testing, the testing and the pre-authorization, et cetera, for that. Initially, the mayor's office and the mayor came back to me and said that they are more than willing to give the PAB the authorization to review applications and provide research on the credentials and background of the applicant. I basically expressed that, that's basically putting a Band-Aid on an open wound. That only solves a portion of it. So the reason we haven't heard anything, to this point is because the deputy mayor took all the additional information under advisement and they're still working on that. So they were more than willing to allow us to do the pre-approvals, before testing and things like that. But as far as the rest of the components go, that's still being evaluated by the mayor and her team. So that's where we stand on that. Can I answer your question, pal?
Does, Bud, thank
All right, no problem. Anybody else have anything under unfinished? Deb, you got anything under unfinished? Sure, okay. Anybody unfinished, going once, going twice? How about you, Matt?
No, but I'd like right now.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Item number 9, agenda new business. Does anyone have anything? Let me go back to old business, please. Shane and I had a meeting with the chief code official regarding the Plumbing Advisory Board's suggestions for updates. I will provide a detailed synopsis of that meeting, but it was a good meeting. The chief code official was open to a number of our suggestions, but not some of the others. Shane and I did talk about this, and some of her concerns were very valid. But for the most part, and also Dave, I did contact Board of Health, and I was asked to come in for a meeting either mid or end of January to discuss, the plumbing code versus the
Department of Health regs,
Department of Health regs.
grease intercept.
Yep. Although the chief code official did accept all of our suggestions as far as connection of a grease interceptor, the only thing that she wanted was for us to remove Philly Design. it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I pointed out in the code book where it's a double hash mark, so it's germane simply to Philadelphia and it refines it, but that's, that's fine. That's fine.
Just an update on Janice Woodcock nomination.
Janice Woodcock.
That is her name.
Mr. Matt, have you heard anything on the replacement?
I have not heard anything.
Okay. I've heard a couple different things. I was in touch with, Danny and,
Danny Gardner, right?
yep, and, what's the other, her colleague's name? I'm having a senior moment. Anyway, I was in touch with them and they basically told me that because of all the activity that's been going on in the city, that they haven't, along with the holidays and the festivities and everything else, they haven't had the right opportunity to sit and discuss it in depth, with Mayor Parker. Off the record, I'm being told that, the mayor is most likely going to take our suggestion. But, until she makes that determination on her own, it's not etched in stone. The mayor and her team did thank the board for the work they did, with the interviews, with putting out the announcement, with, me creating the synopsis of our interviews and all that stuff. They did thank us for that. And they said they hope that, mid-January that I can put something official out. I did call each of the applicants personally and just, thank them for their patience and apologize for the delay, but everything is still in process and there was nothing the board could do about it. All right,
Good, thank you.
all right. I'm putting that under old business. All right, new business. Anybody have anything under new business? Bill, you're gonna have to keep it a little quiet over there, but you got anything under new business?
Where are you going? Mexico? Cancun?
All right, April, you have a conflict with April. Brian, you have a conflict with what? Brian,
April means April 2nd, right?
April Fools. So, the board is going on spring break, is that what I heard? Cancun?
anything else on the new business? Thanks, Bill, appreciate that. I got that noted, Bill, and I'm gonna put right in the minutes. Bill Dobbins said something.
Mark your calendar.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, hearing nothing under any additional under new business, item number 10 of the agenda. Reminder, the next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, February 5th, 2026, right here in room 18002 on the 18th floor, 1515 Arch. I am grateful for all the board members showing up at 8:30. I know sometimes that gets to be a little bit difficult. But we were right on time today, got signed into our devices, and I appreciate everybody showing up early. With that, the time being 10:45, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Matt, thanks. I don't know what we do without you. Yep, Deb, suspend that. Recording.